Good morning, my plant-loving friends. Welcome to your Daily Plant Pulse, a podcast-styled series rooted in my deep fascination with plants. Here, plants go through a plant pulse research protocol where we uncover fascinating insights from scientific studies and share them with you. All studies I review are sourced in the description. I'm not a doctor, just someone who loves to research plants and present what I find. Our 9-part series takes you from an introduction to the plant through amazing studies and even an occasional bonus episode. Be sure to check out our Plant Pulse playlist where all of our episodes on all plants will be. And when a plant profile review is complete, explore our Living Library playlist for an in-depth consolidated review. We dig deep into history, forgotten studies, and untold stories so plants can have a voice and their story can be told. Welcome to episode 9, where we dive deep into scientific studies exploring the incredible ways plants can support human and animal health, as well as solve practical real-world problems. There's so much to uncover that this episode will have many extensions. Look for 9.1, 9.2, and beyond as we continue unlocking the hidden potential of plants, largely undiscovered by mainstream society. Until now. So, let's get started. Today, we're diving into something remarkable, 2 naturally occurring plant compounds that show real research-backed potential to enhance and protect the human brain. One comes from yams and the other comes from berries, and together they paint a picture of how nature may help preserve memory, focus, and cognitive clarity as we age. These aren't speculative claims. They're grounded into peer-reviewed human studies that we are comparing here today. The first study is titled Diosgenin Rich Yam Extract Enhances Cognitive Function, a placebo-controlled randomized double-blind crossover study of healthy adults. The second is a randomized placebo-controlled study of purified anthocyanins on cognition in individuals at increased risk for dementia. So, these 2 studies explore different compounds in different populations. Their findings complement each other, which is why we're discussing them today together. One shows improvement, a measurable enhancement in healthy brains, while the other shows protection, a slowing of decline in aging brains. Together, they suggest that plant-based nutrition may hold the key to maintaining a sharp, resilient mind. So let's begin with diosgenin, a naturally occurring plant steroid found in certain types of yams, especially Dioscorea alata, also known as the purple yam. Diosgenin is part of a class of compounds called saponins. These are fat-soluble, meaning they blend well with oils and fats. An important detail that comes up later. Unlike synthetic hormones, which can disrupt natural hormone balance, diosgenin works in a gentler food-based way, interacting with the body's own systems without pushing them out of balance. In the diosgenin study, researchers recruited 28 healthy adults between the ages of 20 and 81. These weren't patients with memory loss or dementia, just ordinary people who wanted to see whether this natural extract could improve their cognitive function. The study was carefully designed, double-blind, randomized, and crossover. That means neither the participants nor the researchers knew who was receiving the real supplement and who was getting a placebo. Each participant eventually received both, separated by a washout period to make the results more reliable. For 12 weeks, the participants took capsules containing diosgenin-rich yam extract blended with olive oil. The olive oil wasn't just filler, it was essential. Because diosgenin is fat-soluble, combining it with oil increases absorption through the intestinal wall and ensures it can cross the blood-brain barrier where it can actually affect neural function. Researchers assessed memory, attention, language, and problem-solving skills using a standardized test called R-bands, the repeatable battery for the assessment of neuropsychological status. It's a respected tool used to measure cognitive changes in both research and clinical settings. The results were striking. After 12 weeks on the Diosgenin supplement, participants showed significant improvement on the R-bands test, with particularly strong gains in semantic fluency, the ability to quickly recall words in a specific category, like naming as many fruits or animals as possible in 1 minute. This kind of verbal fluency relies on a healthy connection between memory, vocabulary, and executive function, 3 core aspects of cognition that tend to decline with age. Equally important, there were no side effects. No headaches, no nausea, no sleep issues, just measurable cognitive improvement. That's rare for any compound tested in human cognition, and it makes Diosgenin especially interesting as a safe food-based option. Now, beyond this single human trial, laboratory and animal research supports the same conclusion. Diosgenin has been shown to repair damaged nerve connections, reduce inflammation in the brain, and even improve memory in animal models of Alzheimer's disease. Some of these effects are thought to come from Diosgenin's ability to stimulate axonal growth. That's the regeneration of the long branch-like structures that allow neurons to communicate. It appears to downregulate anti-inflammatory pathways, allowing neurons to operate with less oxidative stress. In short, Diosgenin doesn't just make the brain function better, it helps it heal and connect more efficiently. That's a profound finding, especially for something derived from a root vegetable that's been part of traditional diets for centuries. Now let's shift to the second compound, anthocyanins. These are the vivid pigments that give blueberries, blackberries, and purple yams their deep red, purple, and blue hues. It's the compound that you have heard why the blue fruit are so good for you. Anthocyanins are part of the flavonoid family, powerful antioxidants known for protecting the body's cells from damage caused by free radicals and inflammation. They're water-soluble, unlike Diosgenin, and they circulate through the bloodstream relatively quickly after consumption. The second study focused on older adults, 206 participants between 60 and 80 years old. Many of them already showed signs of mild cognitive impairment or had metabolic conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure, both of which increase the risk of dementia. Participants took either 320 milligrams of purified anthocyanins daily or a placebo for 24 weeks, nearly 6 months. To measure results, researchers used an online cognitive testing platform called CogTrack, which assesses memory, attention, and reaction time. A key part of the test focused on episodic memory, our ability to recall past events, the kind of memory that often is the first to fade in dementia. At first glance, the difference between the anthocyanin and placebo groups wasn't statistically significant at the 24-week mark, but when researchers looked closer, they noticed a pattern from week 8 through week 24. The anthocyanin group held steady. In some cases, they even improved slightly, while the placebo group continued to decline. This trend suggests that anthocyanins didn't necessarily boost cognitive performance in the short term, but they did help preserve it over time. That distinction matters. Diosgenin appears to enhance active cognition, memory language, problem solving, while anthocyanins seem to act as long-term shield, slowing or preventing decline. Together, they represent two sides of the same coin. One builds, the other protects. And just like the Diosgenin capsules, the anthocyanin supplements were completely safe. No side effects were reported over 6-month study. That's crucial when we're talking about potential interventions for older adults, many of whom are already managing multiple medications. So let's talk a little about why anthocyanins might have shown subtler effects than diosgenin. It likely comes down to absorption and bioavailability. Anthocyanins are fragile molecules. They can break down in the stomach acid before being absorbed. The study used a simple capsule with no stabilizers or protective coatings to help the compounds survive digestion. If they had been delivered in a more sophisticated way, say with liposomal encapsulation, enteric-coated capsules, or paired with vitamin C, their impact might have been much stronger. Despite this limitation, anthocyanins are doing something important. They neutralize free radicals, improve blood vessel flexibility, and support vascular health in the brain. These are key mechanisms in preventing age-related decline, so while diosgenin's impact was visible after 12 weeks, anthocyanins may play a slower, more protective role that compounds over time. When we compare these two studies side by side, the synergy becomes clear. Diosgenin, fat-soluble and oil-based, integrates deeply into the body systems, repairing nerve connections and reducing inflammation directly with brain tissue. Anthocyanins, water-soluble and circulatory, patrol the bloodstream, protecting those same connections from oxidative stress and vascular damage. One acts as the builder, and the other acts as the shield. Imagine your brain as a city of light. Diosgenin helps rebuild the bridges and roads between neighborhoods, while anthocyanins protect the power grid from surges and corrosion. Both are deeply necessary if you want that city to thrive for decades. Neither compound produces side effects. Both are safe, and both came from simple natural foods that we eat every day. This is perhaps the most hopeful part. The realization that the same colorful plants we've eaten for generations may hold keys to preserving our cognitive vitality. When taken together, these findings point towards a larger truth about nutrition and brain health. It's not about isolated magic bullets. It's about balance and synergy. The fat-soluble compounds that rebuild and regenerate need the water-soluble compounds that guard and protect. In this case, yams and berries might just be the perfect pair. Future research will likely explore how these compounds can be optimized through better absorption methods, higher purity extracts, or even combined formulations. But for now, the message is clear. Diosgenin can improve and has measurable effects of cognitive performance in healthy adults, and anthocyanins can slow the decline associated with aging and metabolic stress. Both are safe, both are natural, and both suggest that the brain, like the body, can respond powerfully to the chemistry of real living foods. We've opened the door. Now it's time to step through. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey of exploration. Next time, we'll explore how diosgenin and dioscin from yams can impact cholesterol buildup, inflammation, and plaque formation, supporting heart health through multiple safe, natural pathways. As always, thank you again for joining me. And we will be asking in that episode, can natural compounds from yams help protect heart health? So stay tuned for part 4 in our ever-evolving yam episode series, 9 series, where we review studies with amazing results. And the pulse continues.